How were the pyramids made whenever they were moving 3-ton bricks supposedly when the bench press wasn't even invented yet? Guys, when the squat rack wasn't invented, how did they build that shit? They didn't! It was the work of aliens in sound waves used to manipulate the physical nature of the world. Are you stupid? No, I'm Gianni. The pyramids were built with water and ropes. There was an explanation video. Such fucking bullshit. Guys, if Joe Rogan doesn't believe the pyramids were built by humans, how should I believe that? Guys, I'll bite. Verita serum. I think that's like what they give people in Harry Potter to tell the truth, so this must be true.
Okay, so we're going for a ride around the pyramids. The Great Pyramid.
What the fuck does that? He wasn't alive back then. How would he know?
Tallest man-made structure for nearly 4,000
Okay, they're still
years.
there.
Only surpassed by a large margin.
Dude, it's crazy that people's backyard view is just dead-ass the pyramids of Giza. I don't think people realize it. I thought they were in like this remote location. But no, they just set them up like 2 blocks away from your local Mickey D's in Egypt.
Meters high. You are interested by climbing?
Yeah, let's climb it.
But it is not free.
How much? What makes the
You hear that, rap bastard? It's not free. This fucking guy's trying to run pockets.
pyramids even more impressive?
Bro doesn't even want to watch the videos. I'm literally doing it.
4,500 years ago, when Egyptians didn't have wheels or steel, the only metal available was copper and copper alloys.
It took about 2 million stones to build that pyramid.
Okay, so you're telling me they're like these, through the use of the indomitable human spirit, they stacked 2 million 3-ton bricks. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I call them stones, giant rocks.
Somewhere between 1.5 and
Bro, like, you get the world's strongest man right there, right now. He's not deadlifting a single one of those.
The pyramids took about 20 to 30 years to make. It's a long time, but if you think the number of stones, a couple million stones in every pyramid, you'd have to be laying a stone roughly once every 3 minutes. If you consider a regular workday like a 10-hour, 12-hour workday.
Nobody know how they build it. Still sick.
How much do you think the Egyptians were getting paid an hour to lay that shit? Oh, they weren't paid a wage, I forgot.
But a lot of people, they try to do the best to give you some information about how they did it. But we must say it's secret. They did, and they take the secret of them. Nobody knows.
This fucking Yahoo just said nobody knows. Crody literally just said nobody knows how they got
How
there.
the pyramids were built. So perhaps it's not surprising that this is the subject of countless conspiracy theories involving aliens, time travel, or lost technology.
Yeah, I'd say that.
But there is a
One of
less
those things for
far-fetched
sure.
myth, which has become widely accepted, that the pyramids were built by slaves. But recent discoveries suggest the pyramid builders were not slaves at all.
Piece of
They
shit.
were
Fuck
skilled
white people,
workers.
bro.
Well-preserved tombs near the pyramids suggest that their hard labor and sacrifice were rewarded. If these workers had been slaves, they would not have received such honorable burials. But how did
Oh
they
my
actually
god,
manage
you guys,
to
do you see how big those are?
build the pyramids? One of the things I find really interesting is that the Egyptians didn't know about wheels, so they didn't really even...
They didn't even know what a fucking wheel was? The most simple, basic human invention they didn't even know about? I just don't buy that they were just deadlifting 3-ton bricks. I just don't buy it. Guys, like getting 315 up off the ground is a fucking challenge, I'll say that. For repetitions, of course, because that's not my max. But still, I can carry a full pyramid. No, you can't. You can't even carry your own, like, Lululemon shopping bag, Amy. What are you even fucking chiming up about?
Even use rollers, as far as we can tell. I mean, these rocks would have been carted across the desert on sleds. There's a famous diagram of this
Sleds.
giant statue being pulled by 172 men. And that statue would have weighed somewhere on the order of 68 tons or something. This would normally create a lot of friction, but the sand was wetted in front of it.
Whoa, 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 what are these creatures? What are these entities? Those aren't like any humans I've seen. This guy is literally doing a 180-degree turn while pulling something. How the fuck does that even make any sense?
Sled. Experiments show this would reduce the pulling force.
Do you think it's that or they're just not good at drawing?
The internal stones of this pyramid are all limestone, which is a bit softer and easier to work. You can imagine them working it with those copper chisels that they had. Some of these blocks may have been actually sawed through using copper saws. Now you wouldn't think that copper
Yeah,
could really
copper
rock,
saws or
but if you
lightsabers,
put an
as I like to
abrasive
call
in there,
them.
like a sand.
Because humans didn't build this!
Stone. Probably be a very difficult and labor-intensive job. Something that you don't really think about is that when you build a pyramid, you need to build it on level ground. You can actually see there how they had to level out that ground.
Okay, that's
Well,
fair.
it's speculated that when the Nile flooded, they put the floodwater into a channel and see where the high parts were. So the inside was made of this slime.
Guys, TNT is only like a little bit of sand and some gunpowder. So you could easily level it out. That's not something I'm wondering about. And then you gotta think about, bro, these pyramids are calculated like exactly, there's like some sort of numbers. Guys, I'm not good at math, but it has something to do with numbers, how like precise they are in terms of like the year and like coordinates and location. It's stupid.
On the outside of this pyramid was actually made of granite, much harder stone.
Whoa, his poor knees.
One, where they would have quarried the stones that were used in the pyramids at Giza. Now that is an incredible feat because this is nearly 1,000 kilometers away from Giza. And when the Nile flooded, water would come right through here so that they could move all the stones quarried here, this granite. They could move this back up to Giza and use it on the pyramids.
These would have had to been floated down on rafts. Now, quarrying this would have been really hard.
Granite is one of the hardest rocks because it contains quartz. And quartz on the hardness scale is about a 7, where diamond is a 10. So
what's my hardness scale when I see redhead find shit? 10.
So
my
how
bad, my
would you dig a
bad.
massive trench like that? Basically, the technique was just to smash the dolerite rock into the granite over and over and over again.
Dude, so you're telling me these jits were picking up rocks and just, but they were somehow figuring out how to lift 3-ton bricks. Okay.
They would make about 5 millimeters progress per hour.
So there is no clear account of how the pyramids were actually built.
Dude, this guy is literally saying nobody knows. He literally is telling you that there is no way we know how they were made. Guys, when you think about it, how are we not able to figure out how things that were built 2,000 years ago were made when we're constructing shit like the Burj Khalifa, right? We're making Dubai chocolate. We're shoving pistachio into chocolate bars. We know how that's made. How do we not know how fucking bricks were placed? It doesn't make any sense. The pyramids were built by the power of friendship. Dude, I think the pyramids had to be built by the power of friendship. They had to have.
But the best guess is that ramps were used. And in fact, some
Gianni, how do you know you're real when you look at a mirror? I notice my unusually large biceps, and I know that I go to the gym repeatedly, so that the only explanation for my large biceps is due to the fact that I go to the gym. Therefore, there is a direct translation between the reflection and reality, so I know that it's real.
ramps have been found on incomplete pyramids, but you can't build just a straight ramp, a long straight ramp, and keep putting the rocks up. I mean, the problem with that is the ramp actually ends up taking up more material than the pyramid itself. I think a ramp which sort of wraps around the pyramids is probably the most likely thing. The top third of the height of the pyramid actually only accounts for about 4% of all the material in the pyramid. That's why it's suspected that levers were actually used to finish off the pyramid, to do the top levels. Now the pyramids have clearly weathered, but in the past they would have been a brighter white because they would have used a white limestone to cover the whole face of that pyramid.
Really?
And then the very top may have been covered with electrum, which is a mixture of gold and silver. So if you can imagine, that
dude,
would
these
be
individuals
a
did
pretty
not know what
spectacular
electrum
sight.
was.
The reason
Stop
these
playing.
pyramids are shaped this way is so they represent sun rays. Imagine what that would have looked like when it was first built, with a shiny metallic top and
like, dude,
smooth white finish on all of those signs.
I just don't buy that somebody was chalking up, we want pyramids to reflect sun rays, so let's get like 100,000 individuals who don't want to be there, who are sweating their balls off, to hurl bricks and type magnesium electromite white cobblestone brick with a furnace heater. Like, what are we doing?
A sight to behold.
Okay guys, I think long story short, since there's no clear explanation for this, we don't know if it was aliens or if it was just people with using gadgets and levers, I think we just have to chalk it up to the fact that it was either the power of friendship or you cannot underestimate the power of somebody who is locked the fuck in.